Hello everyone. Welcome to the session of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. So in the previous session, we solved some of the problems related to the Turing machine. We have seen that how the Turing machine work as language acceptor as well as a transducer. Okay. So let us construct the Turing machine for this language. L is equal to set of strings consisting of w power r such that each w belongs to clean closure of a comma b. Okay. So here we are going to construct the Turing machine that accepts the language consisting of set of words in which we are going to have word followed by reverse of the word, and each word belongs to clean closure of a comma b. Okay. So here before constructing the Turing machine for this language, so let us write down the set of strings first. So here as it was given in the problem that the w belongs to clean closure of set of a comma b. Okay. So the very basic string that is accepted by this Turing machine would be epsilon. Okay, so epsilon will be the first basic string that present in the language. Okay, next one, let me take one symbol. Let me take one symbol as a. Okay, that we consider as w. Okay, and next reverse of a will be the a itself. So we are having here w power r, which is nothing but a. So I have taken a as a w. Okay, and next reverse of that a will be the a itself. So that's why the string will be a. Okay, next possibility, I am taking the next symbol like b here. It is considered as w. So reverse of w will be the b itself. The reverse of b will be the b itself. So we'll get another string like bb. Okay. Now I have taken the w as ab. Okay, the reverse of it will be ba. Okay, so this will be the another string that belongs to this language, abba. Okay, next one, I have taken the word as ba. The reverse of that word will be ab. Okay, so overall the string will be baab. Okay. Next I have taken the word as aba. Okay, the reverse of aba will be aba itself, so overall the string will be aba. ABA. Okay. Next one, BAB. The reverse of BAB will be BAB, right? So by considering W followed by W power R, we could able to generate the set of strings that belongs to this particular language. Okay. Then next one is that we have to write down or we have to implement the logic for the design of the Turing machine. Okay, so we need to design the logic to accept the language w power r. So how do we do this? So first thing is that consider the input tape. So I am taking the input tape here. So some of the characters I am considering it as blank. Okay, blank, blank. Next I am taking the input as like a, b, a, that is word. Okay, the reverse of it will be a, b, a. So I have taken some large string here. Okay, then rest of the cells consisting of blanks. Okay, then how do we implement the logic for this uh, particular language? Okay. So first thing, here what we have to do here is that uh, we have to match the symbols, right? So we have to match the symbols which are there in w with the symbols which are there in w power r, right? So here to accept the language consisting of w power r, what we have to do here is that we have to match first symbol in the input tape with the last symbol. Okay, so we have to match the first symbol in the input tape with the last symbol. Okay, so the next one, we have to match second symbol with the second last symbol in the input tape. Okay, Next one, we have to match next third symbol with the third last symbol in the input tab. Okay, so likewise we have to match the symbols. Okay, so how do we uh, construct the Turing machine that accepts such type of strings? So here let me take, I am considering the same string here, b, that means blank, then we have a, then we have b, then we have a, then a, b, a, and blank blank. Okay, so how do we implement this matching of symbols which are there in ww power r? So just observe the logic here. So let me start with the head pointing towards a. Okay, so the string may start with either a or it may start with b. Okay, so I'm taking the first possibility that the string is starting with a. Okay, so the moment when I read a, I mark that a with x. Okay, so here I am marking the input symbol a with x and input symbol b with y. Okay, so here I am marking the input symbol a with x. Okay, so after reading the first input symbol and marking it with x, I am moving the head towards right. Okay, so I keep on moving the head towards right until I get blank. Okay, so here what I have to do here is that as my symbol, first symbol was a, I have to match this a with the last symbol in the input. Okay, so definitely to be a string a valid one, the first symbol is a, so definitely the last symbol must also be a. So what I have to do here is that first I will mark the first input symbol a with x and I will search for the last symbol. If last symbol is a, then I will mark that last symbol a with x. Okay, and move the head towards left to mark the second symbol. Okay, so here see here, as I marked A with X, I move the head towards left, right. So it is B. So just keep on moving right. So next one is A. Keep on moving right. So how do we find out the last symbol in the input tab? So how do we find out the last symbol in the input tab? The logic is that first we have to go through the symbols. That means we have to find out the blank, and after getting blank, if you move the head towards left, it will give the last symbol, right? So that's what I am taking here. So just I am keep on moving the head towards right until I get a blank, right? So see here, I got the blank symbol right now. So here, after getting a blank, I keep that blank as it is and move the head towards left. Okay. So on moving the head towards left, I found A. So I replace that A with X. Okay. I replace that A with X. Okay. So what it means, since the string is starting with symbol A, okay, I found the same symbol at the end, so definitely it is something like seems to be valid. So since I marked the last symbol small a with x, I move the head towards left. So while moving towards left, what I am searching for, I am searching for x. Why? Because after x, whatever the symbol that you will get, that is the next symbol that we have to consider and we have to mark. Okay, so I have to move the head towards left until I get the first symbol which I marked with x. So I keep on moving towards left without changing the symbol. So while moving left, we got b. Keep it as b itself. Then move towards left, we will get a. Keep it as a itself. Then b, keep b as it is. Then next x. So we got x now. So what it means, we reached the first character which we have marked as x. Okay, so it is indicating that the marking of first symbol or the comparison of first symbol has been done. Okay, so the moment when we get x, we have to move the head towards right. Okay, so right. So from this point we are going to get a next input symbol, right? So what is the next input symbol? It is B. Okay, so when we get a B, mark that B with Y. Okay, mark that B with Y and move the head towards right. Okay, so here the moving the head towards right means we are searching for the next symbol. Okay, so what is the next matching symbol that we must get for a string to be valid? Definitely we have to get B from the last. Okay, so after marking the B with Y, move the head towards right. Okay, until we get either X or Y or blank. Okay, so while moving the next character towards right is A, keep that A as it is. Next one is A, keep that as it is. Next B, keep that as it is. Next one, so it is X, right? So it is X. So the moment when we get either X or B or Y, what we have to do is that immediately we have to move the head towards left side so that it will give the character or the symbol as Y. Sorry, symbol as B. So here this B will be marked as Y, will be marked as Y. Okay. So after marking this B with Y, move the head towards left. So we have to move the head towards left until we get either X or Y. Okay. So we have, since we marked B with Y, so the moment when we get Y during the movement of head towards left, we have to move the head towards right. Okay, so after getting Y, move the head towards right, so it will give the next input symbol that is to be considered. So what is there? The symbol is A, so mark it as X. So mark it as X and move the head towards right. Okay, so keep on moving the head towards right until we get either X or Y or B. Okay, so we got A, keep that as A, same. Next one is Y. So the moment when we get Y, keep that Y as it is and move the head towards left. Okay, so when we move the head towards left, it is nothing but A. Okay, so mark that A with X. Okay, and move the head towards left. Okay, so when we move the head towards left, we will get X again, right? So after X, if we move the head towards right, again we get X. Okay, so that means we have completed that matching of W with respect to the W power R. So what we have to do here is that we have to move the head towards right until we get a blank. Okay, so why we are moving the head towards right means we are checking whether any characters were left over in W power R or not. Okay, so we are checking whether any characters are left over in W power R or not, right? So we have to keep the head towards that means we have to move the head towards right until we get a blank. Okay, so we have to keep on moving the head towards right when we get a blank and all the symbols were marked as either X or Y, then the string is set to be accepted. Okay, so this is how do we implement the logic for the implementation of the Turing machine that accepts W power R. Okay, so the string may starts with either A or B, right? So if it is starting with B means we have to replace that B with Y. Okay, and again we have to match that starting symbol B with the last symbol of the string. It must be B itself. Okay, so likewise we have to match it. So this is the overall logic which I explained here. So just I have mentioned the same point. Okay, so this is the overall steps that we generally apply to implement the logic. Okay, next one. So here this is the Turing machine to accept the language W power R. Okay, so let me explain this first part. So just try to understand here. So first thing I am starting with the state Q naught, right? Starting with the state Q naught. Okay, so let me consider the input is something like uh, let me take short string A B B A. Okay, so I have taken the string as A B B A. First thing. right? So here initially I am starting with the state q naught, right? The first symbol could be either a or b, right? So that's why we are going to have the two paths, right? If you see this transition diagram in this, from q naught, if we get a, if we get a in q naught, if we get a, we replace that a with x, okay, and move the head towards right, okay. So that is the general logic that we followed. So in q naught, if we get a, we replace that a with x, okay, with x, and move the head towards right, okay. And also we move from state q naught to q1, okay. So this is the state transition from q naught to q1. If we get a as the input, we replace that it with x and move the head towards right, okay. The another possibility is that the first symbol may also start with b, right? So in q naught, if we get b means we are going to have another path, right? So q naught on b means we go from q naught to q4, okay, q naught to q4, and we replace b with y and move the head towards right, okay. So we are having the two paths from q naught, right? So one path is if the first symbol is a, and the another path is that if the first symbol is b, okay. So that's why from q naught we are going to have the two paths, one for a and another for b, okay. So here as we got a here, so in q naught, if we get a, we replace that a with x and move the head towards right, okay. And we are going from state q naught to q1, okay. That's it. Next, so while moving towards right, what we are doing here is we are simply skipping the symbols until we get a blank, right? So in q1 we are going to have a self transition, that is in q1 if we get a, keep that a as it is and move the head towards right, okay. Since the first symbol that we got is a, so definitely the last symbol must also be a, right? So next one, that means in q1 what we are doing, we are simply skipping on the symbols, okay, by moving the head towards right. So if in q1 if we get a, keep that a as it is and move the head towards right, okay. And in q1 if we get b, okay, keep that b as it is and move the head towards right, okay. So this is the operation that we are performing, right? So keep on moving the head towards right until we get a blank, right? So in q1 if we get a blank, okay, keep that blank as it is, keep that blank as it is, and move the head towards left, okay. So since last character was not marked, so definitely when we move the head towards right, definitely we will get a blank, okay. So the moment when we get a blank, we keep that blank as it is and we move the head towards left, okay. So that will gives the next character that is to be marked, okay, that is to be compared from the end, okay. So definitely when we move the head towards left, what we will get, we will get a symbol a, okay. So definitely we will get a symbol a. So that a symbol must be marked with or replaced with x, and we have to move the head towards left, okay. So see here in q1 if we get a blank, keep that blank as it is and move the head towards left, okay. And also this leads to the change in the state, that means we move from state q1 to q2, right? In q2 if we get a symbol, we replace that a with x and move the head towards left, okay. So keep on moving the head towards left. So that task we will perform in the state q3. In q3 if we get a, we keep that a as it is and move the head towards left, and if we get b, we keep that b as it is and move the head towards left. So we have to keep on moving the head towards left until we get x, okay. So the moment when we get x means we have to shift towards the right to obtain the next character, right? So in q3 while moving the head towards left in Q3, if we get X, what we have to do? If we get X means keep that X as it is and move the head towards right. Okay. So see here, by this particular part of the transition diagram, we are comparing a symbol in W with a symbol in W power R. Okay. So we are matching that symbols, right? So if A has occurred in the first position of a string, definitely the end of the string must also consist of A. So definitely the string must end with A itself, right? So that is the thing that we are doing, right? So if A has occurred in the second position in W, that means A is the second symbol in the string, definitely second last symbol in the string must also be A. Okay. So that type of comparison here we are performing, right? So this is the part of the transition diagram where we are marking A with X. Okay. In W as well as W power R. Okay. Next one. So this is the case, right? So here if we see the input tape, what we have done, we have marked this A, okay, and we reach the state Q naught. So the next input that we have to consider in the input tape is B, okay. So here we get another part in Q naught. If we get B means replace that B with Y and move the head towards right, okay, and also change the state from Q naught to Q4. So Q4 is the state where we are marking B with Y. Okay. So in Q4, if we get any A's or B's, keep them as it is and move the head towards right. Okay. Move the head towards right. So A, or B, move the head towards right. Okay. So if you see the input tape, the next symbol is B, move on. See here. The next symbol is X. So in Q4, if we get X, keep that X as it is and move the head towards left. Okay. So as I already mentioned, while moving the head towards right, we will search for either blank character or X or Y. Okay. So while finding these characters or whenever we find this either blank or X or Y, what we have to do is here is we have to move the head towards left. Okay. So that we will get a next character that is to be marked. Okay. So in Q4, if we get X, keep that X as it is, move the head towards left. Okay. Same is the case in Q4. If we get a blank, keep that blank as it is and move the head towards left. Okay. So when we get blank in Q4, that means if the B is the starting symbol in the string, okay, if we mark the B with Y and we move the head towards right, keep on moving, definitely we get a blank. Okay. If B is not the starting symbol, then while moving the head towards right, definitely we are going to get either X, that means we are going to get either X or Y. Okay, right? So this is the possibility. So in Q4, if we get X, keep that X as it is and move the head towards left and also change the state from Q4 to Q5, right? So on moving left, if we find B, that means in Q5, if we get B, replace that B with Y and move the head towards left. Okay. So we have to move the head towards left. Done. Next. And also we move from state Q5 to Q6. Okay. So during this operation, while moving towards left, if we get A's, keep that A as it is and move the head towards left. Keep the B's as it is and move the head towards left. Okay. So here we are moving. Okay. So here if you see input tape, we marked this B with Y. Okay. And next we moved this X we found. We marked this B with Y. Move the head towards left. Okay. So while moving the head towards left in Q6, if we get Y means, we have to go to Q naught by keeping that Y as it is and move the head towards right. Okay, so that means while moving towards left, what we have to do, we have to uh, search for y. Okay, why we have to search for y? Because we are considering this transition for marking b with y. Okay, since we have marked with b, sorry, since we marked b with y. Okay, so we have to move the head towards left until we get a y. Okay, so in q6 if we get y, keep that y as it is and move the head towards right. So definitely it gives the next symbol that is to be compared or that is to be marked. Okay, so and we move from state q6 to q0. Okay, so this is how we are implementing. Okay, so see the actual transition diagram here. So in q0, if we get a, replace that a with x and move the head towards right. Okay, in q1, if we get any a's or any b's, keep them as it is and keep on moving the head towards right. Okay, so in q1 if we get either x or b or y, keep them as it is and move the head towards left. Okay, so as I mentioned that why we are considering these three possibilities means, if a is the start symbol, if we marked that first symbol a with x and move the head towards right, definitely we have to search for the blank character. Okay, so once we get a blank, if you move the head towards left, it will use the last symbol which is there in the string, right? So if already any symbol has already marked from the from the right, so that symbol could be either x or y, right? So if it is either x or y, if we move towards left, it is going to give the next character. Okay, next input symbol from the right side. Okay, so this is the case. So in Q1, if we get X, keep that X as it is, move the head towards left. If we get blank, keep that blank as it is, move the head towards left. Or if we get Y, keep that Y as it is and move the head towards left. Okay. So in Q2, if we get A, replace that A with X and move the head towards left. Okay. So in Q3, we keep on moving the head towards left by skipping the symbols A and B until we get X. Okay. So in Q3, if we get X, keep that X as it is and move the head towards right. Okay. And also move from state Q3 to Q0. Okay. So that completes that comparing of A in W with W power R. Okay. And uh, coming back to the state q0 uh, in search of second symbol. Okay, so next one, if we get the b in q0, so we go from state q0 to q4 by marking b with y and moving the head towards right. Okay, so in q4 if we get any a's or any b's, we simply keep on uh, moving the head towards right. Okay, and in q4 if we get either x or b or y, we have to keep them as it is and move the head towards left. Okay, and we have to move from state q4 to q5. Okay, in q5 if we get any b, okay, replace that b with y and move the head towards left. Okay, and also move from state q5 to q6. Okay, in q6 simply keep on moving the head towards left by keeping the symbols a or b as it is. So that's why in q6 we are having self transition. If we get a, keep that a as it is, move the head towards left. If we get b, keep that b as it is, move the head towards left. Okay, keep on doing. In q6 if we get y means keep that y as it is and move the head towards right. Okay, and then move from state q6 to q0. Okay, move the head from, sorry, move from state q6 to q0. Okay, done. Next one. So see here, once you mark this all the symbols of w, okay, in q0 you are going to get either x or y, right? So in q0 if you get either x or y, keep them as it is and move the head towards right. Okay, and we will also change the state from q0 to q7. Okay, So when we get x or y in q naught, that means whenever all the symbols of w are marked or considered, then we are going to get either x or y in q naught, right? So the moment when we get either x or y in q naught, we simply move the head towards right, keeping them as x itself and y as y itself. Okay, so we move from state q naught to q7, right? So in q7 we simply moving the head towards right. Okay, because we are finding whether any symbols were left over in w power r or not. So that's why what we are doing is that we are simply moving the head towards right, as long as we get either x or y. So in q7 we are having self transition where we are keeping that x with x as it is, and y as it is, and moving the head towards right. Okay, so in q7 if we get a blank, keep that blank as it is and move the head towards right, and also move from state q7 to q8. Okay, and mark the q8 as a final state, right? So what it means, in q7 we simply keep on moving the head towards right on getting either x or y's. Okay, and if we get blank means, that means all the symbols in w and w power r were matched and we got blank. Okay, so in q7 if we get a blank, we simply move from q7 to q8, and q8 will be considered as a final state. Okay, next one. So as I mentioned earlier, that what is the basic string that is going to be accepted by this particular Turing machine is epsilon, right? So epsilon is the first string that is belongs to this given language, right? So what do you do here? So in q naught, if we get a blank, keep that blank as it is and move the head towards right and move from state q naught to q8. Okay, so what it means, uh, generally epsilon means the input tape is consisting of blank itself, right? Blank itself, right? So if we get a blank in q naught, keep that blank as it is and move the head towards right, and also move from state q naught to q8 directly. Okay, so as q8 is the final state, so we are getting a final state on blank symbol from q naught, so the string epsilon is accepted. Okay, so if the question is having like w belongs to a set of a b power plus, that means positive clean closure means you are not going to have this transition from q naught to q8, right? So if the w belongs to positive closure of set a comma b means you are not going to have the transition from q naught to q8, right? So just observe this change. Okay, so just before constructing the Turing machine for this w power r, carefully examine that what is the property that is given here, whether w belongs to positive closure of set a comma b or clean closure of set a comma b. Okay, so based on that you have to specify the transition from q naught to the final state on blank. Okay, so this is the how we can construct the Turing machine for w power r. Generally this transition diagram seems to be complex, but once you understood this logic, it is very easy to design this Turing machine. Okay, so this is the acceptance of the string w is equal to ABA, which we have done here through the transition diagram. The same I have explained here with the instantaneous description. Okay, so here we have proved the acceptance of the string by using IDs. Okay, so these are the steps that we performed uh, to accept the string w is equal to ABBA. Okay, so just go through these instantaneous descriptions. Okay, and after processing ABBA, the Turing machine halts in a final state Q8, so the string is said to be accepted. Okay, so if the Turing machine halts in a non-final state for a given string, then that string is said to be rejected. Okay, that string will not be accepted by the Turing machine. Okay, so this is the problem which we already discussed. Okay, so we already discussed that the Turing machine also acts as a transducer. That means it will take some input, process it, and produce some output. That means it takes the input, performs some sort of computation, and gives some output, right? So we have already seen this example in the previous session, generating the ones complement of a given binary string. Okay, so let us solve the another problem. So design a Turing machine to perform addition of two binary numbers. Okay, so here we are performing the addition of two binary numbers here. Okay, so here we are taking the binary number here, simple binary number. So let me take, I am take considering a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, right? So a will be represented as a binary format which is 1 1. So if we represent the b in a binary format, it will be 1 1 1. Okay, so a binary format 1 1, b is binary format 1 1 1, right? So here to implement the Turing machine for such computation, here we are using one delimiter, right? So here we are using a hash which acts as a delimiter between the two inputs, right? So here as we know that the input must be stored into the input table, right? So the input is consisting of a value which is nothing but 1 1 and b value triple one, right? So how do we identify which one is a and which one is b? So for that, what we are doing here is that we are separating the inputs by using a delimiter called as hash. Okay, so first thing we will write a value 1 1, then we will use the delimiter hash, and then we will specify the b value, that is triple one. Okay, so apart from them, the remaining cell consisting of blanks. Okay, right. So how do we perform the addition? So first thing what we will do here is that the addition of 2 and 3 will be like we have to get something like 5 ones. Okay, okay. So the result of A and B must be 5. So A value is equal to 2, B value is equal to 3 means it must be a 5. Okay. So here to implement this logic, what I am doing here is I am considering A value in a binary format and B value in a binary format. Okay. So A value 2 means I am representing in a binary format as 1 1, and B value I am representing here in a binary format as 1 1. Okay. So here, what a binary format here, it means 2 means how many ones we are going to have, 2 ones. Okay, so just it is something like a what we can call it as representing 2 in terms of ones. Okay, next how many, the b value is 3, so how many ones are required to represent 3 here? 3 ones. Okay, that is not actually a binary one, so we could say something like uh, just representation of 2 uh, in terms of the symbol 1. Okay, so 2 ones will be represented as a 2 number, 3 ones will be represented as a 3 number, right? So here like this we have to consider. Okay, next see here in the input tape we stored the input a 1 1. Okay, the delimiter we specified is hash. Okay, followed by that we are having a b which is represented as 3 ones. Okay, now so what will be the result? The result will be the 5. So definitely we are going to get a 5 ones. Okay, so we have to get a 5 1 into the input tape, right? So what we will do here is we start with the first one here. Okay, so whenever we find the first one, we replace that one with hash. Okay, and move the header towards right. Okay, so if you move the header towards right, we will get 1. So keep that 1 as it is and move the header towards right. Okay, so whenever we get a hash, we replace that hash with a 1. Okay, we replace that hash with a 1 and move the header towards right. Okay, so keep on moving the header towards right until we get a blank. Okay, so once we get a blank, if you count the number of ones in the input tape, it is 5. Okay, it is 5. So what is the logic here is that the first symbol we have to mark it as hash or any other character. The remaining, that means the hash will be marked as a 1 and the remaining symbols must be kept as it is, right? So if we count the number of ones which are there in the input tape, it will give the sum of the two numbers. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. Okay, so see here I have explained this with one example with input tape here. So the first one is 1, the first symbol is 1, so I am marking that first symbol 1 with uh, either blank or hash, it's your choice. Okay, so let me take, I am marking with a blank here. Okay, next one I am keeping that one as it is and moving the head towards right. So on finding hash, I am replacing that hash with 1. Okay, replacing it with 1 and moving the head towards right. So if I get 1 while moving the head towards right, I will keep it as it is and I will move the head towards right. If I get 1, I will keep it as it is. Next, if I get 1, keeping that 1 as it is, moving the head towards right, and after getting a blank, I will go to the final state, and whatever the content that is there in the input tape, that will be considered as an output, right? So how many ones that we are having now? We are having 5 ones. So that is the result of addition of two numbers, right? So see here in Q naught, if the first symbol is 1, replace that 1 with a blank and move the head towards right, and also move from state Q0 to Q1. Okay. So in Q1, we are moving the head towards right by simply skipping ones. So in Q1, if we get 1, keep that 1 as it is and move the head towards right. Okay. So in Q1, if we get hash, means replace that hash with 1 and move the head towards right. Okay. And also move from state Q1 to Q2. Okay. In Q2, if we get any ones, keep them as it is and keep on moving the head towards right. Okay. So in Q2, if we get blank, means we have processed the entire input, given input. So in Q2, if we get a blank, means keep that blank as it is and move the head towards right, and also move from state Q0 to Q3. Q3 will be the final state. Okay. So this is how we can implement a Turing machine to perform the addition, right? So here you do whatever the A value is there or B value is there, just convert them into the number of ones, right? So if A value is something like 3 and B value is something like 5, the 3 will be represented as 3 ones, okay, and 5 will be represented as 5 ones, okay. So it is not like a binary format, it's simply just representing that number with the uh, number of ones, okay. So if we consider this, the result will be 8, so we are going to get 8 ones, okay. So here we are not considering any sort of carry here, okay. So, however, we can implement a Turing machine that could also consider the carry. Okay. So this is the way in which we can construct the Turing machines. So we have seen how the Turing machine will work as a language acceptor and also how it works as a transducer. Okay. So that's it for today's session. In the next session, we will discuss about the techniques for the construction of Turing machines. Okay. So what are the various techniques for the construction of Turing machines that we will discuss in the next session. So that's it for today's session. Practice these problems, and if you have any queries, let me know so that I will clarify those in the next session. Okay. Thank you for attending this session. Have a nice day.